Avengers Endgame. The worst movie of all time. Theme song.
Dooby dooby doo, where are you? We got some work to do now. Scooby dooby doo, where are you? We need some help from you now. Come on, Scooby Doo, I see you.
Okay.
Welcome everybody to the Manga Alert podcast. Once again, joining me this week we have is the wonderful Gear Third Manga Reviews.
Hey.
And for the first time in Season 3, our main host is back, ShrugPod. We finally negotiated a deal with Vic's lawyers, and he can now appear, although we will have to censor a few words that he does say throughout the course of this season of Manga Alert, just in case, so that way we don't end up getting sued.
I can't talk about.
Yeah, we've
Here,
also
censor that shit.
while we have made a peace treaty with them, they are threatening to sue us now, so we have to be really careful, or else we'll be out a lot of money.
Let's talk about all the podcasts that have basically risen since the last time we did an episode of this Manga Alert podcast. What is this? Every channel seems to have a podcast now.
I was on a podcast recently on Apollo's channel.
Gear and okay, so that would mean that me and Shrug are the only two hosts of Manga Alert that have never appeared on any other form of podcast.
Yeah, you guys are loyal.
Dude,
you're good.
We're loyalists. We're true to the North.
Apollo,
which is where,
for me, was
where all
literally,
the
he
truth
was like,
is.
hey, do you want to be on my podcast? I'm like, no, not really. And he's like, oh, come on, we need more people. I'm like, okay. And he's like, okay, we're recording it now. I'm like, oh. So, yeah.
okay.
And then
Quality Apollo.
then it took him like 2 weeks to put it out. And when I was watching
Wait, what?
yeah, it took him forever to do it anyway. Then when I was watching it, my audio is quieter than the others. Like, it's still watchable, but it's noticeably quieter. I'm like, why didn't you just increase my volume? He's like, I increased it to 2. I'm like, why didn't you increase it to 12? And he's like, oh. So.
Well,
What?
it explains as to why Apollo is trying to trump Manga Alert. He just simply cannot handle the facts. And also his wonderful fans that we have here in the comments section. I think equally, I think we can all collectively agree that Apollo is the most hated host here at Manga Alert. The people in the comments cannot stand him worth a shit.
I mean, rest in peace to our boy Senpai. I mean, he.
Oh, well.
I feel like if he would have been, I think if
Too
he would have
soon.
been around, then I think it would have been a lot worse.
Too
but,
soon.
Hey, who knows?
Apollo gets
Just
more
a theory.
hate than Blood did that one time he was on. It was like literally watching a movie.
Oh
My God, let's not. So, for those of you who are new to the podcast, back in season 1, we invited Blood onto one of the episodes, and some other YouTuber that I have not heard from ever since we recorded
she
that
hasn't,
episode.
like, been active at all, but yeah.
But anyways, we tried something different. We kind of like just invited collectively like just random YouTubers that were in the manga community that we weren't necessarily friends with, and it worked. But we never really spoke to her afterwards. We uploaded the podcast and we put it out, and it was a fun podcast. I have to say that's probably one of our few like actual like good quality ones. But yeah, we invited Blood type anime onto the podcast, and he was watching Step Up 3 with his girlfriend on FaceTime, replying to her in the background, and then also while we were having a discussion, having a conversation with her. So it was like super unprofessional, but it was kind of great. But
Usually
I don't
would
know.
cut that stuff out, but that week I wasn't on, and the only way people could record it was they had Taz recording the whole thing onto one audio file.
Oh God.
Oh no.
So we couldn't cut anything out, so it was all in there, and because I wasn't there for it, I was just listening back to it, editing. I'm like, what the fuck are they up to?
Well, at
That's a
first
classic.
someone thought it was a bit that it was a bit that someone was just watching Step Up 3 while we were having this in-depth conversation about just great manga and great anime, but you know, Nope, it was not a bit. It was unintended and not planned, but there you go.
So yeah, the point is Apollo gets more hate than when we have like actual terrible flaws in the podcast.
Yeah, I mean, season 1 was kind of just a rough mess to begin with because we have lost episodes because Taz deleted his channel. The first ever pilot episode was absolutely horrendous. God. And if I could go back and like redo the first episode, I would, because it was just kind of a mess.
Yeah, like the podcast itself was fine, but it was just the audio was nope.
Yeah. So
I remember hearing about that.
But yeah, season 1, you know, maybe we'll go back, revisit some episodes maybe one of these days, but for now, let's just go forward. So we're going to be doing just kind of a chill kind of day today. We're not going to be talking about any specific manga. We'll be returning hopefully in the next week or so with another episode of Manga Alert that focuses on a topic. But for now, let's just kind of have a chill day today. Let's talk about what we've been up to, what has been going on in the manga community. We also are starting that lovely, juicy comment comeback, and we got ourselves a list of some of the Manga Alert episodes, some of the best comments I've ever seen on any YouTube video, especially the ones that are aimed towards Apollo, because we all know who's the best manga host here is, Apollo Gray.
Cool.
All right, Gear, take it away.
Okay, here's one I really like from Flip Otaku that was on the Season 3, Episode 1. Really happy you guys got mics. It sounds so much better. Now, I don't really... I feel like maybe he just watched, like, Season 1, Episode 1, and then watched this, because not only do we always have mics, but also I don't think the audio quality has changed at all. So. Yeah,
the audio has been pretty true to the original. I think I'm the only one here who let's see, Season 1, Episode 3, I got a Yeti. I mean, that was pretty early on in Season 1, so I've had a mic for quite some time. And same with everybody else. I don't think anyone here is using Apple headphones anymore. So
yeah, so I don't really know. Maybe he just got a new speaker and it sounded better.
Yeah. Or maybe he watched only a minute of the episode and it had like some brain fart and then that was it. Who knows? Audio fart. Anyways, Flip, thank you for your comment, but we have mics. We all do. Yeah. All right.
What else do we have here? Yeah, okay. This is a good one from Donnie here. I don't think Old Shaman knows how to shut up, and Apollo Gray has the worst voice. I hate it.
All right, so 50% of the comment I agree with.
But no, that's not all, because then I replied, Southerners, am I right? Because, of course, Shaman and Apollo...
Well, there's some conspiracy here going on, because I'm nowhere near the South, so that is completely just blasphemy.
Vegas is pretty south. You're like in the middle of a desert.
It's pretty slanderous to assume that I'm from the South because I don't have a shitty accent like Apollo Gray does. So, I mean...
Yeah, but it's still south. In fact,
no,
I have a map here.
No, not really. I mean, maybe from your perspective, which is Canada, I mean, sure, anything is south towards you guys. So
based on this map I'm looking at here, it looks like Las Vegas is slightly more south than Kentucky, where Apollo lives. So...
Oh. Well, I guess I'm a Southerner now. I don't know what to say. I've lived my life a whole lie before.
But Shrug, you're from Tennessee, right? That's even more south.
Oh gosh, I don't want to be the most south.
So
you're even worse. But I mean, Donnie didn't call you out, so maybe he's a new watcher and he hasn't heard you yet. So hopefully he's viewing the.
Well,
hopefully he's viewing this now and he's writing a comment about you as we speak.
I can just hear the keyboard clacking away.
Keyboard warrior. Go Donnie. Anyways, Donnie, thank you for your comment. Like I said, I agree with 50% of what you had to say. For the other percentage, I think I do have the right to respond. And fuck you. Anyways, next comment.
Okay, we have one from Mr. Smart Person. That's his username. This was on the Bleach podcast where he said, meh, Black Clover is better. So.
Well, first off, no, it's not better. The anime proves to be one of the worst things I've ever kind of listened to in my existence. The voice actor for Asta is absolutely shit and sounds like ass. As far
Asta.
as the animation quality goes, I mean, nothing compares to Bleach opening 13, and if you disagree with that fact, then you're a cuck.
Now, I can kind of agree in the sense that I'd rather read Black Clover than read the ending of Bleach again, but yeah, no.
I mean, collectively, would you rather read all of Black Clover or just one section of Bleach?
Yeah, well, the thing is, Black Clover's not very long. I'm pretty sure it's still shorter than the entire Blood War, so...
Oh, well, sure, but... Well, let's see, actually, how many volumes of Black Clover are out in Japan as we are recording this?
You know, Black Clover is actually really popular now, and it's like popular to like it.
reason.
Like when it first came out, it was popular to hate it, but now it's popular to like it, and it's kind
So,
of
Black
annoying.
Clover is, in comparison to one arc of Bleach, it's 20 volumes right now, so...
So yeah, it's about the length.
So
There's
it's about
like-
the span of Soul Society, so...
Interesting.
I think it was the Giga video that he made, and he was like, Black Clover's good now, and then I think it's just everybody just kind of started following that trend. It's all like, oh my gosh, he's right, and then everybody just started liking it.
Oh,
I swear that's
It's
what
the
it is.
shonen trope that people just automatically assume that, yes, Black Clover isn't as good when you first start reading it, but around volume 10, chapter 500, it gets good. Like, I don't have that time to dedicate to a series anymore. Like,
Yeah.
if I really wanted to sit down, read Black Clover, expecting it to be good at a certain point, then sure. But
Yeah.
why
And I
isn't
feel
it
like
good from the start? That's the
Yeah,
whole
thing,
point.
Like, I feel like if you don't, like, I read 2 volumes of Black Clover. When I got to the end of volume 2, I was like, no, I cannot keep doing this. And I feel like even if it did get better for some people, like, I feel like it wouldn't really get better for me. I'd just be like, just feel like the same thing. I'm like, I hate these characters. I don't care about the story. I don't think it would really matter if I got to that.
And then
supposed
at that
gets
point,
good
you're
point.
just backpedaling onto other people's expectations, saying, "Oh, well, it gets good at volume 10, and then what if it doesn't get good by volume 10?"
Yeah. Like, I feel like, I mean, there's definitely a lot of the series I think get better over time, but, like, I still think
I mean-
if you're not invested by the first couple chapters, then there's no
Yeah.
real point.
Black Clover's not the worst thing I've ever read, but that's not really saying much.
But,
Yeah.
you know.
The manga, I would probably say, is better than the anime. The fucking anime is...
Oh, God,
Cringe-inducing.
I see a ton of Black Clover fans
Oh,
upset
man.
about the anime all the time. I'm seeing, like, comparisons of panels and screenshots. I'm like, oh, God, I feel bad for Black Clover fans in that regard.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
not really sure what to say. I have no plans of ever continuing it, so...
Oh, and fun fact, of course, it's the same studio that did the Bleach anime, so there's that.
Even
Maybe
better.
Even better.
Maybe Black Clover is the reason Bleach will never come back.
I guess so. We finally found our true Lord and Savior.
All right, let's see. Apollo seemed this is from Cool Kid. Apollo seemed pretty upset this holiday season. I am sure Chibi Review's getting a girlfriend before him. No. I'm sure Chibi Review's getting a girlfriend before he could ask him out himself. Must have been a real mood killer. Feels bad, man. Keep on fighting, Apollo. So,
Well,
this was, of course, when Apollo was really jealous that Chibi Review's got a girlfriend.
oh yeah, that was quite the sight to behold.
Oh, yeah. I'm proud of Chibi Man stepping out of his shell.
Yeah, finally found a taku
Are they
girlfriend.
still dating?
And he got his own house. I think he built it or something. He's like, yeah, guys, I just built this house. You know, no big
Wait,
deal.
what?
Yeah, he's living in that Airbnb, the potato in Idaho that you can rent out for $200
I
a night.
think-
Yeah, I heard about that one.
If I remember right, I'm pretty sure he, like, just him and his dad just built a new house for him or something. I don't know. It's weird, but
All right
good
then.
job, I guess.
Good job, Chibi Reviews. You're a man.
From Nord, this episode is a strong 9 out of 10. Could have used a bit more of the N-word, but overall it was Gucci.
What?
So,
When he says the N word, is he talking about the no word?
maybe.
Like
Maybe he
Noragami?
was talking-
Like the Noragami podcast? We can't talk about
Like,
that.
like Nisekoi,
Oh,
my favorite
oof.
romance series.
Nisekoi, the series that takes 20 volumes to finally say, yes, I love you.
Oh, I can't wait for... I wonder how long it's going to take We Never Learn to get to that point.
40 volumes.
Oh, I know what the N word is. Never read Black Clover. Got it.
Ooh. Shrug, you've read more Black Clover than all of us.
That is true. I read up to volume 9.
And does it get
Come
does
on,
it get good?
It gets
No.
it gets good at volume
No, it does
10.
not.
You have to give it
Oh,
a
that's
chance.
true.
It gets
He was
good
a
at
volume
10,
short
I
of it
promise.
being good.
Actually, I don't know. It may have been 10. It's like it's very close. I remember it was one of those series that I would buy because I was just like, I can sit down, I don't have to think too hard about it, and I could just read it. But the one day that I was all like, I'm gonna actually start paying attention, I gave up on the whole series. It was like volume 10 or something, and I was like, what is going on? I was like, this is so stupid. And I'm like, okay, well, I give up. And I sold them all the next weekend.
Well, that's good. You finally woke up and realized, and you smelled the flowers and said, hey, I'm good. And then you bought World Trigger instead.
Well, speaking of World
You know
Trigger,
me.
our next comment is from Toaster Cat, our good friend Toaster Cat. He says, disrespecting World Trigger, this will not go unnoticed.
Toaster, I love
So-
you, man. You're a bro at heart. You're an OG manga collector, but World Trigger is fucking ass. I mean, I'm sorry. No one can convince me otherwise. It is the dumbest manga ever. It is dumb. It's stupid.
I legit have never. I remember I was watching Crunchyroll, and back when I was like big into watching anime, and I legit would see a World Trigger ad like every other like space, every other commercial break, and I was like, I don't think I will ever watch or read World Trigger because it just does not look good at
The
all.
argument is that it's different. It's such a different type of manga. It like differentiates itself from all the other boring shonen manga that are out there. But what they're arguing is like this is just another generic shonen fucking manga. The characters are boring, the story is boring, and the hook is that, oh well, the fighting and the scenes and the battles are amazing. Great. That's what all shonen battle manga has. Even the shittiest of shonen battle mangas have battles.
Yeah, even Fairy Tail had cool art
So-
and stuff.
You know what else people thought was different? The 7 Deadly Sins. Let's all look how that
What?
turned out.
How? How did they think that was different? That's like
It's generic
I remember,
baseline shonen.
the first chapter of Seven Deadly Sins is literally the first chapter of Fairy Tail, just with different names. It's like it's
Dude,
like the
they
exact
were-
same thing.
They were like, "Oh, they're just confused criminals." It's like, nah, homie, that's not
All
it at
shonen
all.
manga has become
So-
I'm gonna be king of the pirates. Just every character making some sort of different version of that.
I want to become the 7 Deadly Sin.
Oh, speaking of that, have you guys read the preview for Kishimoto's new manga?
God no. Sekiro
What?
Shadows Die Naruto.
Okay, you can't judge it by 4 pages that got released, but it was basically just like this kid and I think it was his dog. He had like a robot dog or something, I don't know. And like there's like a shooting star. I can't actually remember if it's like this or not, but he's making a wish and he's thinking about what he'll wish for. And he goes through this whole process, and then on the last page he's like, I want to become the world's greatest samurai. I'm like,
Roll
oh, no.
credits.
Oh no.
Oh no.
I mean,
And then,
Well,
I don't
and then
know
Time for
what it
another
was, but the main character looks worse than the final arc of Naruto. Just like the art in general. Like, I didn't read it. I'll be honest, I didn't read it, but I saw some of the artwork and it didn't look very good.
But did you see the 12-minute video for Neverworld made
oh
on the
god,
4 pages?
is he actually making manga content now again, or is he still on his shitty I can make a rap career out of my YouTube channel binge?
Holy frick! I've got to look
No,
him up.
he's still
I've
making,
literally.
he's back to manga content, but it's getting like not very many views.
Going back, not to take a tangent here, but going back to the whole Black Clover comment that we made earlier, you know, For Neverworld made a video, a great video, by the way, about how he would say that One Piece would have been canceled after 3 chapters because it wasn't good in the
that's a
beginning,
classic.
which, I mean, One Piece was actually, you know, had something different that a lot of modern shonen don't have, which is it had a pretty good start. And yeah, I think For Neverworld's just retarded and doesn't understand the influence. Like, this man thinks Dragon
Piece
Ball
has
Super
such-
is better than Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z. I mean, let's think about that for a
No
minute.
way.
One Piece has like such a good hook. right? It's
Yeah.
like
has a
hey,
great
we got
setup,
this-
and then all of a
we
sudden,
had this crazy
yeah, it would have
treasure
been
and-
canceled after 3 chapters. It was just terrible.
Yeah.
Can I,
Oh, speaking of canceled, Rip Food Wars.
oh
How
yeah,
about that?
Food Wars sucked
snapped.
bombed so hard in the polls that they just said, "Fuck it, cancel it."
Shueisha snapped. They canceled Food Wars, Hell Warden, and Neolation. Rip.
Thank God
Not
for the other
Neolation.
two. Those two were awful, and they were literally on their last leg.
Yeah, I didn't mind Hell Warden.
The fact
although I stopped
Neolation
reading it.
lasted for as long as it did in the magazine was insane.
Well, I think like it only lasted 19 chapters, which is usually how long canceled series lasts.
That's what I mean. I mean that to me
yeah, that was dead
is
on arrival.
is terrible. You think it'll ever get a release here in the States, Gear? Like a Viz volume, like 1 volume? Oh, this
Barrage.
series would have been great after 2 volumes. Who would have known? Oh yeah,
Yeah,
by the
go
way,
Barrage.
going on about that video, I think the video was about Barrage being better than My Hero Academia. He basically said that if Barrage would have gone on for more than 2 volumes, that it would have been better than My Hero Academia because Shonen Jump
my
didn't
God.
give it a chance. They canceled it way too soon.
Oh,
But we all know that next April we're doing the Barrage podcast, so we'll be talking about that then.
Do you know that? Do you think that like some of these like really popular like anime YouTubers just really think that if they say like a really outlandish statement, it'll become like the next like big meta, and they're just like, oh, I'm just gonna like. It's like they don't really believe that it's true, but they just kind of put it out there and try to see how many people will just follow along with it because they're just following the trend.
Oh man, another video for Neverworld did, and I saw he actually changed the title later, but he did a review of the first episode of Promised Neverland, and he was like, is this the new Death Note or something? Or something really cringy like that, and he's like, wow, this is Shonen Jump's answer to all of the action series, like this is
Oh my
something new.
God.
I'm like, okay. I'm like, do you know like half the series in Shonen Jump aren't action? Like,
At least not anymore.
yeah, like what are you?
Maybe
on
20
about?
years ago, but fuck, Shonen Jump now has boiled down to fucking ecchi, romance, fucking Black Clover,
Hey,
Seven
Bells.
Deadly Sins, Naruto, One Piece
Well, not that
ripoffs.
What's that one where the like girl is an actor or something? That's a new one too.
I mean,
Acting,
Shonen
yeah.
is like a disgrace. It's like it's not even anywhere in the image that it used to be 20, 30 years ago.
Come on, Yuna.
I
You
mean,
Never Learn. You
listen,
Never Learn's great.
okay,
You Never
Dr.
Learn's so
Stone is probably the best shonen that I've read in the last 10 years. Let's be honest. New
good. Dr. Stone's
shonen.
pretty good.
That actually breaks the mold and actually differentiates itself from the rest of the shitty series that are being put out. There's no, I'm going to be the greatest scientist that ever lived. None of that fucking bullshit. Okay? It's just a dude who's like, all right, let's just save the human race. Like, all right, sure, let's do it.
Promise Neverland. I can just see like Phil or someone like, I'm gonna be the best livestock child.
Oh, God.
Do you think? I actually haven't read any of Dr. Stone. I'm actually kind of excited
Definitely
for it.
recommend it. I actually enjoy it. And actually, Code Provider likes it, believe it or not.
Whoa. Jeez.
So
Wow, haven't
if
heard
Code likes
his
it,
name in a while.
you gotta check that
Must
shit
be
out.
good.
You know,
Yeah.
I'm on volume 4. I'm only following it by release, so I don't even know what it's like right now. But
Oh, it gets even
I mean,
better
I like it
constantly,
now, so
but,
I can't wait for some of the later
oh, yeah.
stuff that comes out.
Oh man, there's one series we haven't talked about. Demon Slayer.
Oh, God!
yeah.
Oh, by the way, yeah. So
Oh,
Demon Slayer
gosh.
got an anime. I think it's been that long since we put out an
It
episode
did.
of Manga Alert. So Demon Slayer got an anime. Apparently, it looks really nice, but the story is still shit, and everything else about it is still terrible. So
I've watched all of it so far, and like the production value was so good. I'm like, man, oh, this looks sexy. But then I'm like falling asleep whenever they open their mouths. It's like I have to train you to become a demon slayer, and then he just spends all this time training, like learning how to cut rocks, and he's like tripping up in the woods, and there's a whole episode of that. And then like he's like, all right, you got to take the hunter exam. You got to go up on the hill with a bunch of other people who want to be demon slayers.
I'm getting
Go up on the hill.
so fucking tired of shonen manga ripping off Togashi with a stupid exam of sorts. Like, I get it. It's a fucking trope now that people just have these dumb exams in their shonen battle manga, but it has been so oversaturated in all these series that I can't stand it anymore. Like, fuck off. Like, these exams, you don't need them. You don't need them to have a good story.
Let's all take a test to learn how to cook, and then, you know, our manga gets canceled. Oops.
Oh my god.
Let's
Food
all
Wars?
let's all
Food
take a
Wars is
test
like-
to make a good game.
I heard Food Wars got really, really bad. Like, I haven't read it since, like, volume 15. It was alright. It wasn't anything too special, but, like, apparently it got terrible. And it's just, like, the students aren't even done their first year of school, apparently. So,
My
No way.
but I hope it ends with just, like, a 20-year time skip, and he's like, yeah, I made it, guys. I'm the
No,
world's
to be
best
honest
chef.
with you,
Yeah,
know
that's
what
how
would be
that
a
series
great
starts.
turn is if he gets kicked out and then it does it 10 years later where he's like a homeless dude and he's like, everyone's working at a teppanyaki grill. Oh wait, that's kind of racist. Cut that out, Gear. Or what? Not teppanyaki, but like a hibachi grill or some shit. I don't know.
But yeah, now that I remember that series starts with him being like, I'm gonna be the greatest chef in the world. I'm like,
I'm gonna be the pirate
many-
king
how many
of food.
at least the main character in Demon Slayer doesn't want to be the best Demon Slayer, because I swear to God, if he did,
What if everybody just kind of had like the same, like all like modern day manga just have the same like Naruto and One Piece kind of storyline? It's like for Fire Force, it's like, I want to be the best firefighter ever.
Isn't that what Fire Force is though?
well, kind of. He just wants to be a hero.
I
So it's
wanna
still
be
kind
a
of- he's like, I
hero.
wanna
For
be a
I mean, for
hero.
Orange, it's kind of like, I want to be the best person that makes a girl not like me ever, and then I'm gonna die. Oops, spoiled it.
I want to be the best suicide victim.
Oh no! 13 Reasons Why. Who?
Erase.
That's why One Punch Man is so great, because he's already the
I
best.
want to be
hero
the
ever.
best One Punch Man there is.
Oh man, I've been reading a lot of One Punch Man. It's so
Yeah,
good.
it's great.
More
It's
than I
such a
have before.
fun break on like the whole shitty shonen 2010 era of shit.
Yeah.
Because like. Yeah, and now I think about it, like they do all the things, like it starts, they have an exam.
Yes,
and it's just,
exactly,
like-
and it's satire, so it makes it good.
Yeah, they have an exam, then later on they have a tournament.
Yes,
arc.
it's great. I
And
love it.
And it ends just,
so
and you
good.
know that Saitama's gonna win, but he's just like,
Yeah, and it always just ends with him being like, yeah, whatever.
he's like,
And,
I didn't
all
want to
the-
win
All the
anyways.
villains have like these. All the villains and characters have these super elaborate backstories, and there's all these elaborate like power systems and stuff, and like just none of it matters. It's so
Saitama
good.
did 200 push-ups a day. That's it. That's all that matters.
Yeah. Oh my god.
I think,
Oh, and season 2 is so bad. I hate it.
Yeah,
dude, it's so garbage.
I'm not really sure what they were expecting with that one. They just fucked up with giving it to a really crappy studio.
Dude,
The studio that did Food Wars.
oh
Yeah,
no.
but Food Wars isn't good, so you know.
So back on the comments from earlier.
Oh, right.
I remember I've never really gotten like not too much flack like in the comments about myself, but I think the two that really got me were the one on the top selling manga of 2018. Really cracked me up because Gear like sent me the screenshots. It was like I was like taking a nap and I woke up and like he sent me these screenshots of this one guy. He said, Zan Pasta Chef, he said, the child always screaming was a mess to listen to while the rest was fun. And then another guy said, dang, Shrug, I was playing this on my TV, then you talked, and I almost pissed myself. And I absolutely just started to lose it.
Oh, that was a Mesky OJ.
Shrug has had a history of blowing up computers on Manga Alert, so I mean, it's not necessarily a bad thing. You might be doing someone a favor. You know, they got a shitty fucking Google Notebook or whatever, Chromebook. You know, they need to get rid of that. Get a better computer.
I've had a very bad habit of doing it. So.
Yep. All right. So
On the same video, this was the first time we had T-Dog on, and he said, "Nice one. Not a big fan of the new guy though." And then this guy replied, he said, "New guy has an average cuck voice, but it's surprisingly enjoyable." So maybe we should replace Shrug
Dude,
with T-Dog.
you're right.
what happened to Neptune stays in Neptune.
Neptune's going away soon on this big
Oh
Nolan
yeah,
mission.
so Neptune is, he's finally following the origins of the Book of Mormon. You know, he's finally leaving the nest, and he's going to Uganda, to where he'll preach the Bible and try to convert people forcefully.
Yeah.
I mean,
Forcefully with weapons.
This is all just from the musical, but
You know, he's gonna go in there with like an RPG and be like, "Support God or die."
All right. We have a comment from Blue Wolf Productions. When will Base Senpai upload again?
This channel is not affiliated with Base Senpai. Moving on.
All right. What else do we have here?
That's really funny because right below that one, it says, "Please have bass here on more often."
Well, to answer the question anyway, Base is like dead from YouTube. I don't think he plans on ever uploading again, but he's super active on Twitter. So, I mean, if you really want to know what's going on in his life, go follow him on Twitter, I guess.
I mean, he won't talk to us, but
Yeah, he pretty much blacklisted everybody here at Manga Alert for whatever reason, because we got some dirty evidence on him. So
Wow.
I just kind of roasted him on Black Clover, and then I told him,
Yeah.
and then I tried to like become more of a comrade with him, but then he never talked to me again.
I think the real reason he just does not like us is because we don't like his favorite series, and that's Black Clover. So, I mean,
Fair enough. All right.
Yep.
This is a comment from the same person on another video, Blue Wolf Productions. "I think Old Shaman is too harsh on Bakuman. It's such a good series."
All right, so I think
Oh,
I've gone on so many tangents on Bakuman at this point, but it is the dumbest, longest drawn-out story in shonen history. It starts out with a really cool concept of just these two guys who are wanting to get together, create a manga, have it published, and then have it be successful. But on the course of the 20 volumes that it spans over, it has the dumbest romance. It has some of the dumbest story plots, including one where a guy gets a bunch of
I know what you're gonna say.
bunch of factory workers together, writers and manga artists, to create one big series, and then it ends up sucking so badly that it spans that this whole story plot spans at least for a majority of the story. So Bakuman,
Yeah.
the art is great, but the story, which should be any hook to any manga that you read, is terrible. It is literally the most boring series that I've ever read. Not only that, and this necessarily isn't a diss to any series that, well, if it's Hunter x Hunter now, then yes, sure. It is very text heavy. Like, it feels like you're reading a fucking light novel half the time, because there's just panels and walls of text of just stuff and information, which, granted, I mean, they're trying to be as close to being as realistic in a manga industry as possible, but when you have story arcs where you have some guy who's like, "I want to make the greatest manga of all time,"
I want to be the king of the
I'm
manga.
gonna be the greatest mangaka ever.
like, yeah, no thank you. I still will say this, Bakuman
Alright.
is easily one of the most boring series that I've ever read, and I don't like it,
Well, geez,
and
that-
I think it's shit, so, yup.
Oh, geez, I shouldn't have read that. That took up like 5 minutes. But on that note, did you hear they're actually making a new Death Note chapter?
Is
They're,
it Death Note year
coming back
after?
They're doing a new one-shot, and it's just like a Death Note spin-off or something.
Oh no.
What is it going to be like?
And honestly, after Platinum End, I never want to see their writing.
Yeah.
I mean, so I think that like a lot of people got upset because when I did a manga collection video, I put Death Note on my. I think I mentioned this before. I put it on my disappointment shelf because Death Note to me was Bakuman to Old Shaman. It had, but it said it had a really Death Note had a really good hook to me, but I was just so bored. Like, there was, like, not horrible moments, and, like, overall, like, it was good, but, man, I was bored out of my mind, because I would read, like, 10 whole pages of them just sitting in the room, and they could have either, they literally went on, like, I think, I don't remember what volume it was like, towards the end of the series. They were all sitting in one room talking about how they were going to get this one person, and it took them 10 pages, and then at the very end, they summarized what they were going to do, all in one page. And I'm like, so you took up 10 pages to explain to me what you already did and won.
You gotta know his kaikaku. You gotta know all the details.
I don't know. It just kind of upset me. Also, something that always really bothered me is that on the spines of the volumes, like, they show all these demons, but they're never in there.
I mean, the first half of Death Note, I feel, is the best part of the series.
It is.
And then second part, it starts to, the hype train dies down pretty quickly. And the story, it doesn't necessarily per se get worse. It just kind of flatlines. Like, it's interesting enough to where I still stick around to read the rest of the series. Here's the thing. Death Note only is 12 volumes, and if it went on any longer, I could imagine it being one of the worst fucking series ever, because if it's just a game of cat and mouse for 30, 40 plus volumes, it would have been awful. So I'm glad that they decided to end it where they did. And for the most part, you know, I don't think Death Note is the greatest series of all time. It's nowhere even near my top 10, but it's good. It's not bad, but it's not the greatest thing ever. So
now, Platinum End, on the other
Platinum
hand,
End is a whole breed of insanity.
I want to be the best angel ever.
I want to be the best god ever.
Yes, best god. Just that phrase alone just wants me to. I want to die. Anyways, yes.
Ooh, okay. I found this is from the Full Metal Alchemist episode way back in season 2, and it was a comment that was just so puzzling, but I love it. So, this guy's name is Mr. That's Just Your Opinion, Man. When I watched Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, I saw the first season and thought it was extremely boring. I found all the characters one-dimensional and the fights were ruined by unnecessary, cringy jokes. Where does the story get good for most people? I found the storytelling fine, but I thought it was too childish to carry on.
First off, great name, by the way. I mean, in all honesty,
I don't like it, but
Mr.
that's just my
Opinion
opinion, man.
That is beautiful. I mean, shit. I mean, I think you might be in the minority there, dude. Like, I thought Full Metal Alchemist's introduction was pretty great. I mean, it's pretty gruesome. I mean, seeing two kids basically.
Yeah, I don't really get what the
too
childish part. I'm
like the fucking series opens with two kids getting their body parts disintegrated. Like, I don't understand what this person is trying to say or imply. Maybe
or
he
the movie?
accidentally watched
like,
the 2003 anime and watched like the first
the
10
live
episodes,
action.
Maybe. Imagine if someone started with the
Germany,
2003 movie. Imagine,
I mean,
like, as their first
just,
impression
like,
of Full Metal Alchemist. Oh God.
I mean, can we just not talk about Nina? I mean that.
Man.
I mean, to me, that's child's play. That Edward, brother.
Yeah.
Big brother.
Also, I'm not really getting like the one-dimensional part. I don't know where he's
Big
getting that part
brother.
unless he just went in with the intention of just being like, I don't like any of these characters.
I think all the characters in Full Metal Alchemist are pretty well developed. They all have their own character arcs, and they also have their own maturity throughout the show. Like, these characters grow with the reader or watcher, in the case of the anime. I don't understand what he's saying.
Like, even for somebody who, I think that Armstrong is somebody that at first glance you don't think is going to be that important. But even then, he's somebody who gets developed throughout the entire story, and that's what I think is like really interesting. Almost any character that's in that series is going to have like a character arc or some like very important part of the story.
Yeah. I think the only useless character in Full Metal Alchemist is the pink-haired chick from like the first fucking episode. Rose. You know, thankfully her waste of a character is like ended off pretty soon, and then we just get to all the good bits.
Like,
so
you know that like the
that,
2003 anime, they like rewrote her character for the very end.
Yup, and she became a very crucial character to the plot. It was
Yeah,
terrible and awful. 2003 is its own can of worms.
It's so weird. Like, I think I've seen it before, but it's like all a blur. Like,
Isn't
I don't even know what was going on.
Well, about a year ago, I rewatched the whole entire 2003 anime, and the beginning is good, and then about halfway through, like some of the fillers even entertaining.
Yeah.
Like I can get past that, but like close to like I think the last 10 or 15 or so episodes, it gets really bad.
It has a good opening though. The last opening.
Like, I mean, I don't think anyone cares about spoilers. This fucking show has been out forever. One of the homunculi ends up becoming Edward's like mother. Because when they tried to revive her, it created a split homunculus where the person that was like the disgusting thing that they reincarnated or tried to bring back to life wasn't their mother, but the homunculus became the mother, and then the mother finds out that, oh, Edward and Alphonse are my children, and then I must save them and protect them, but then she dies.
good.
I don't know, stupid plots, and then they also, like, I guess there's a plot where Alphonse, when he was sent to the door, it created another homunculus, which I think, Pride, I think
know.
ends up
It's all
becoming, like, their
confusing.
stepbrother. Like I said, 2003 is such a fucking mess towards the end, and then people, they knew it was bad, so they tried to make a movie to, like, fix everything, and then that didn't work very well. And it fell apart, and then they were like, all right, screw this, Brotherhood, reboot time, and then, yeah, rest is history.
Nice.
All right, moving on.
This is a comment from way back in Season 1 from Kuno, who said, I just came here to say that Persona 5 is the greatest game of all time. Then
Wrong.
myself and Apollo both reply with GTFO, and then Old Shaman replies, Persona 1 is the best Persona game. So
I mean, PSP version, let's go, boys.
that's fun. I just love how Persona 5S, everyone thought it was a Switch port, and it's a fucking Dynasty Warriors clone. Like,
I'm not going to name drop anybody, but there's a certain someone who's supposed to be a host of Manga Alert who thinks that Persona 5 is the greatest thing of fucking all time, and it is the funniest and cringiest shit I've ever read in my life. So just wanted to let that sink in. Persona 5 isn't necessarily per se a bad
oh no,
game. It
definitely not.
is not.
I think overall
But
it's pretty good.
as far as people going on record who have never played any other Persona game and have only played Persona 5, which seems to be the majority of people, saying that it's the best fucking Persona game and they've never played any other game before.
It's weird.
Yeah,
Like,
no.
I don't blame people for playing it and like really loving it. I mean, that's fine. I think it's a great game, but it's just weird when I see people like, oh, this is the best game I've ever played, and I'm like, oh, that's fine, but you should know that the games that came before it are actually better.
Yep.
So,
I mean, I would argue Persona 3 is better than the last two games as well.
Yeah, Persona.
But, 4 is good too, but...
but I mean, but it's also not entirely their fault because Atlas doesn't like to make them available on modern platforms. So,
Yeah. Well, I mean, hey, Persona 3 on mobile phones is pretty great. I don't know about you, but, I like to play it on my Motorola Razr,
Yeah,
pop that
I
in
mean,
every now and then.
Joker got into Smash. Yeah, I know that guy.
you can't. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I like Joker and Smash, and the stages are cool. But it's like you can play Persona 3 dancing on your PS4, but you can't play actual Persona 3. So,
Rest in pepperoni.
all right. I think we're just about good on comments here. I'm scrolling through the really old stuff here.
Let's do one final comment.
See if I can find it. Okay.
As the
I'm going through all of
ultimate
these.
send-off.
We have gotten so many requests to do a Bakuman podcast.
Holy
Like,
frick.
I don't think you guys would want one.
I don't want one.
It would just be... I mean, does anyone here collectively enjoy Bakuman? Like, do they find it entertaining or good?
I
by
liked
any
it when
stretch?
I first read it. I don't know if I would still like it now because it's been like 4 years. But
I have had
Yeah.
it sitting on my shelf for about a year now. And now, because I bought it with the intention, oh yeah, I heard that it's pretty good. But then I read Death Note. And then I heard you guys start saying stuff about it. I was like, oh gosh. I was like, oh frick. I was like, I'm probably not going to like it.
I mean, there's enough haters in the comments who think that we give Bakuman too much of a hard time. But then again, there's also a lot of people who think that we give Platinum
Also
End a
Black
hard
Clover.
time.
I just like to keep throwing that
Yeah.
out there that we hate Black Clover.
And Demon Slayer, and Yuna and the Haunted Hot Springs,
Okay,
and Neolation, and Food
Bleach.
Wars.
Well, at the end.
And pretty much
Yeah.
everything we ever talk about.
I don't think anyone in the comments defends Bleach, to be honest with you.
I mean, let's just put it out there. I mean, Vinland Saga is just awful.
But
Whoa, no, we don't speak blasphemy here at Manga
Yeah.
Alert.
what was it? Oh yeah, the new Vinland.
There no shame, no shame.
Oh man, yeah. The Vinland Saga anime got a July release date, and
Oh,
we're getting 24
really?
episodes. Yoo-hoo.
Frick, that's
Yep.
gonna be good.
Oh my God, guys! JoJo Part 9 was announced.
Oh shit.
Yes, it's gonna be called Steel Ball Breaker.
Steel
unbreakable.
Ball Buster.
Steel Ball Breaker is unbreakable. The oxymoron in that is hilarious.
I love watching the Part 5 anime, and just all the stand names are different, even though
Yeah.
like.
Zipper Man.
But no, the best. It's like he says the words in English, so he's like sticky.
He says
fingers.
sticky fingers, and then all you see in the subtitles are Zipper Man.
Zipper Man.
Yeah, they turned Notorious B.I.G. into Notorious Chase. Like what?
Okay, can we just go on a JoJo rant? Notorious B.I.G. is the worst stand ever. It is the worst stand in existence. Okay, first off, what is the point of a stand? To defend the person that the stand user is using? And in order to activate Notorious B.I.G., the stand user has to die.
Like
That is its effect, is once the stand user dies, it activates. Now, granted, its abilities that it gets once the stand user dies is pretty broken. Like, it
yeah.
is basically impervious to any stand ability. It is invincible. It cannot be destroyed. But the way it... Alright, well, I mean, it's technically a spoiler. Has it happened in the anime yet?
yeah, it has.
Okay, alright. So, the stand... Like they're like, oh my God, we can't destroy it, and then basically they chase it onto a plank, and then it sails away. That's it. And so
Well,
now
wait.
it's stuck at sea for the whole entire time.
Yeah.
It's stupid. Worst stand ever.
You had to-
Another
how did
shitty
he-
stand would
how
be
did-
Survivor,
How did
which
he
I
even
think
know it would work? The guy who died, like.
yeah,
Like-
exactly. It's like for the mafia, for my passion, and then he dies, and then that activates. Like, fuck off. That worst stand in all of JoJo.
Man, that's pretty bizarre if you ask me.
Oh.
But
So how about Tadahiko Inoue coming back?
oh yes,
That was
so
wild.
some real manga talk, guys, and it took 48 minutes to get to this point, but real manga is potentially coming off of hiatus. It's not confirmed 100%, but Inoue has been saying that he wants to come back and write.
There's
and
rumors that
illustrate
he's coming back.
Real.
I don't think there's any official confirmation, but there's a good chance he'll be
But
back.
the rumors are pretty strong, and if that is the case, Real is his second basketball series, and I, in my opinion, think it's better than Slam Dunk. I know that that's going to trigger a lot of people.
Well, but it's
I
about
like
the
both
cripples.
series. I like both series, but I think Real is, well, no pun intended, a realistic story, you know? So, I think that this pretty much boosts the chances that once he comes back into the swing of writing manga, or not writing manga, but just coming back to the whole manga scene, I think this might give him some encouragement to finally say, all right, time to visit an old friend. What is a vagabond?
I just think I just thought, imagine if like he came back like just with a new series and it was just like a generic
God.
shonen, like I'm gonna
All right,
be
guys,
the best.
this is my next samurai series.
I'm gonna be the best samurai ever.
Vagabond 2.
Oh my god! And speaking of samurais, we were joking about how like Neolation got canceled because they like Kishimoto came back and they were like, all right, just pick one series you want gone and we'll do it. And he's like, yep, you're gone.
He could have chosen like Dr. Stone or one of the big shots because, you know, he might have some competition with those big series, you know?
Yeah, I'm curious to see how it'll do. Because, I mean, I'm sure people will always be hyping it up or whatever, but, like, in the
Because
actual
honestly,
rankings
right
and
now,
stuff.
The Promised Neverland and Dr. Stone, those I'm rooting for.
Because
them
we're at
to-
the point now, a lot of people don't think about this, but Naruto is really old, So a lot of the people who grew up with it aren't the people reading Shonen Jump.
Yeah,
now.
isn't it like? But
Like all these people, they grew up with like My Hero and Black Clover and stuff, and they're like, what's a Naruto? What's a Bleach, right?
What's a My Hero Academia?
but didn't
So like, we'll see how Samurai 8 does.
but didn't Naruto end like 2012?
2014. But again, also like people say maybe you start getting into manga in 2012. Like by then, Naruto has like 600 chapters. Are people really? Does everyone
Don't forget that
really
Shippuden anime also continued airing until like 2016.
Oh, true, yeah.
And then Boruto basically diarrhea dumped itself afterwards. So
Oh,
God
Boruto.
almighty.
But I heard that Boruto gets good at episode 98.
oh yes, all the people who are finally saying that yes, now Boruto is worth watching after 98 episodes later.
Oh man, do you guys know Yonko Productions on Twitter? He
Yeah.
always leaking everything.
On Twitter, he has some bad takes. I don't
Yeah.
necessarily.
Like I agree with a lot of his stuff. Like he's on here making fun about the new One Punch Man season. I'm like, yeah, man. And then I'm like, yeah, this guy's great. And then like he'll just drop a take. Like he always talks about how good the One Piece anime is. I'm like, what do you?
Well, his name is
He's
Yonko
like,
Productions.
hey guys, in like 5 weeks we're getting a pretty crazy like 2-second great animation from this director guy. I'm like, okay, but
Wow.
what about the 5 episodes that come out before that?
All right, Aftercast time. Welcome everybody to the Aftercast. If you've stuck around this long to hear our annoying voices talk about how shitty Bakuman is for the last 40 minutes, then this is the part of the show where we talk about anything. We spoil whatever. We don't give a shit. So if you don't
So
want
how
to hear any
about that,
spoilers, then
Sonic
hop off.
movie. Sonic
Oh,
movie.
Sonic
gosh.
movie looks like dog shit, and they're already trying to rework the movie after its trailer
After
was dropped.
The
one
director-
trailer.
The director tweeted out, he's like, hey guys, so we heard your feedback and we're going to change Sonic's design. I'm like, the movie comes out in like 6 months.
Like,
How are you
it's
gonna
gonna look
do
so
that?
bad. I feel like there's gonna be like, it's gonna be like 4 kids trying to re-edit shit. It's gonna be hilarious.
It's easy to swap a model, but like then you have to re-render everything and do like all the touch-ups. Like that's a lot of work.
Yep. And who's getting paid for this overtime? Who knows?
And like Sonic already looks terrible, just like, I mean obviously his design, but just like how he was inserted into the world, it looks really fake. So it's like,
I don't know
it
why they
already
couldn't
wasn't-
just do a Detective Pikachu. You know, just
yeah, like this is Detective Pikachu looks way better than it ever needed to be. And yeah, it's
yeah,
just
looks terrible, sounds terrible. I don't know how I feel about Jim Carrey being Dr. Robotnik or Eggman, however the fuck you want to say it.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they had a whole plethora of people, but you know what? Dr. Robotnik isn't a fucking comedian half the time. Like, what is he, cracking jokes half the time in the video games? Like, last time I checked, that's not what he does, but whatever. And then,
But it's
not
like
only
this movie
that,
was
but,
also like 20 years too late.
like, are we supposed to, like, I don't know. Are we supposed to, like, connect with these characters? Like, feeling, oh my god, nostalgia is so heavy for these characters.
But like really, this should have come out in 1997.
Like, I don't know. The Super Mario Brothers movie looked terrible, but this looks pretty bad.
Oh, I mean,
Yeah.
I literally have lost all hope. As a very large fan of Sonic, I am just I wish that I could not be associated with this at all.
Well,
I just
think,
don't know how they managed that design. Like,
No.
what the fuck?
I think Sonic Adventure 2 said it best, and live and learn, right? Oh my god. Avengers Endgame apparently is the greatest film of all time, as stated by IMDb, as well as critics, and how much money it made. It produced a lot in the box office, and apparently people are very satisfied by the way the film was going. I don't have much to say because I haven't seen it yet, and I don't know, I'll get around to it eventually.
I very much enjoyed Endgame. It was pretty great. That's all I really have to say without
Yeah.
going this. I like
I'll-
all the memes. I like the dab, and I liked the Fortnite.
Yeah,
That was
Will
great.
Smith's appearance at the end of the film was great. I love that.
Mhm.
And then
Oh,
Jared
yeah.
Leto coming out as the Joker. top tier.
Yeah, it like when they brought out all the DC characters, I'm like, wow, they really spared no expense. They got everyone.
They connected every possible aspect of each universe together, and it just blended perfectly. So
They brought in the '90s Fantastic Four movie cast.
yeah, and the Spider-Man, the German Spider-Man films, black and white. Those were pretty great.
Superman 4: Quest for Peace. It was just like, wow.
And then my favorite was when they went back in time to resurrect Stan Lee so that he could be in the movie as a cameo.
And when they went to Japan and all the My Hero Academia characters were there.
Dude, this is the most ambitious crossover in history.
Dude, it gets pretty real.
This kicked the shit out of Ready Player One.
Yep. So that's
Actually,
right,
no, I
Steven
think the
Spielberg. You better hold your butts.
I actually think the most ambitious crossover was at the end of Spy Kids 3. I don't know if you've ever seen that movie.
Oh yes.
But they're fighting they're fighting robots in the city, and they're just
Rocky Balboa
calling
comes out of
everyone.
nowhere.
All the universe's characters come together.
Yeah.
Actually, Rocky
Literally-
Balboa is unintentionally in the movie, so you're not wrong about that.
Oh man.
No, I'm dead
That
serious.
was-
Shrug. Sylvester Stallone is, he's in that.
Yeah, he's the villain.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, you've seen it. Everyone's seen Spy
Okay,
Kids
all right, cool.
3.
So you're not an uncultured bastard.
Oh, no, I
Anyways,
know.
So that
my
I remember
favorite.
actually just my mind was blown when I that scene when all the characters from all the movies came together. I'm like, man.
My favorite
that's
scene
beautiful.
is, did someone ring in the dingster?
Yeah. And then his kid shows up for
Get him,
can't
Paul!
remember what he's- Yeah. Oh man.
All right, last note.
Steve Buscemi.
Last note before we end the podcast tonight. Game of Thrones Season 8, Episode 3. One of the greatest episodes of Game of Thrones I've ever watched in my life. There was torture, there was death, there was pain, there was agony, there was hellfire, and then there was glory. And all of the glory went to the north on this day. Just remember
This is
that.
actually a pretty controversial episode. Not everyone likes it.
Yeah, you know what? There were things I didn't care for, but at the end of the day, I think there's more likes than dislikes for me. So I
feel
enjoyed it.
Yeah, same. I had a few problems, but overall, yeah, that was pretty great.
This was, I think,
battle.
the highest budgeted episode of Game of Thrones. I think I'm pretty
and
sure.
it
I'm pretty
also-
sure it
not only-
was,
I think
but
it was the longest fight scene ever put on film.
mhm.
And I think it took them the longest. It took them 2 months to film it or something.
Jesus.
Because I'm kind of at the point, with Game of Thrones, they've passed the books now, so I've kind of accepted that the writing's not going to be as good as it used to be.
Yeah, but
So I'm just,
where
here
it
for the
does
ride.
shine is the action scenes, which I'm
Oh, yeah.
glad that they went all out for this last episode, and it gives me hope that with the next war that's about to happen, it's going to be even greater. So, let's hope that is true.
Yeah, man.
And Shrug knows nothing about Game of Thrones. What about Lord of the Rings? Are you a fan of those films?
I mean,
Shrug?
yeah.
What's your favorite Lord of the Rings film?
I mean,
Let's have a Lord of the Rings.
The Battle of
discussion.
Five Armies.
that's my favorite one. No,
Actually, the animated film is my favorite.
Oh yeah, the animated films.
I actually have seen. I remember watching the Lord of the Rings, the animated cartoon one from a while ago. It was before the live action ones, and I remember watching in 7th grade, and I was very confused. But to be fair, I actually haven't watched. I probably haven't watched Lord of the Rings since before middle school, so I probably need to rewatch those.
So I made it a point this year to finally watch Lord of the Rings. I bashed it for the longest time. I was like, I'm not watching this shit. This fucking long-ass movie that is annoying. It plays the same dumb theme every 5 minutes. And then someone one day was like, well, that's just Game of Thrones. And I was like, huh, you're right. And then I was like, all right, I'll watch Lord of the Rings. So I did. I actually enjoyed it a lot than I thought I would. I thought Fellowship was the worst one, but that's not to say that the film is terrible. It was just really long, not a whole lot of action, a lot more dialogue heavy than really the rest of the films. Two Towers gets a little better, a lot more action packed than I had hoped for, which is good. A lot of the character plots are really great. I think the dwarf is my favorite character in the whole entirety of the films. And Return of the King, easily best film. I mean, I'm not trying to say that because it got like 11 awards. It's like, oh, this is the best film of all time. But rightfully so. I mean, it got like 11 Oscars. I mean, this film is like, for the time, I think the record did get beat. But this film was like technically the best film of all time.
Oh, it's fascinating how they made it. Like, if you watch all the bonus features and stuff, like,
oh yeah,
it's crazy.
Well, it's not like this film was using like the latest version of like the best software in like history. Like, this is a film from like Jesus. Like, this film is almost older than I think Shrug Pod.
Oh yeah.
That's like this film came out in 2004, I think.
2003.
2003.
Return of the King.
And I mean, these films took over 15 years to produce.
Yeah, and like some of the process, like one of the things they actually did was that they storyboarded it like an animated film, like the entire trilogy, and they got like cheap voice actors off the street to like act out the entire thing. So they had like the whole thing done like it was an animated film. Just to get all the shots right and stuff. Like, it was wild.
Yeah, I mean, so Return of the King, best film in the trilogy. Two Towers, easily second best. Fellowship, yeah, give or take, it was all right. Sean Bean is in it, and the meme. It's always so funny watching that film because I finally got to the scene where the meme was born.
Yeah,
you could not simply walk into.
Have you seen the Hobbit films?
They're taking the hobbits to Isengard.
The Hobbit is like it's honestly a sad story. Like, Guillermo del Toro wanted to make it. He's like, yeah, we're gonna make like 2-hour movies. It's gonna be all practical.
Yeah, that was the
effects.
problem. Is splitting it into 3 films was the dumbest thing that they could have honestly done.
I'll defend it a bit because like the Hobbit book is really weird. Like, in order to adapt it properly to film, you would need a lot. Like, you wouldn't just be able to do it all in like a 2-hour movie. But 3-hour movies is a bit ridiculous.
Best part was how they tried to de-age Orlando Bloom.
Yeah, like so much.
I don't know how, but he looks older than in the first film. So, or in the Lord of the Rings trilogy, when he's supposed to be older.
There's like a good 3-hour movie in The Hobbit, but then there's like 6 hours of it.
Oh my god.
So.
All right, well, that's our Lord of the Rings talk spiel for the day. This was a pretty entertaining podcast. We're going to be going back to the standard topics and whatnot, hopefully next podcast.
Maybe we'll do a Bakuman next week.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe one day the hate will get so large that we'll just have to break out and do it. In fact, to make people more mad, we should just do like a Bakuman podcast, but only have it be like 10 minutes long, and that's it.
Just like it's shit.
Yep. Sounds good to me. Anyways, guys, thank you for joining us again for Manga Alert. Hope you all enjoyed, and we'll see you for the next one. Take it easy.
And Scooby-Doo, if you come through, you're gonna have yourself a Scooby snack. Scooby-Dooby-Doo, here are you. You're ready and you're